Democracy is very tough to manage, but it's the best form of government.
We must promote unity, stability, and economic justice for everyone.
The question of security is paramount in my mind because women are the highest victim of insecurity.
Our diversity is an asset if we know how to use it.
Charting a roadmap to actualize, promote, and solidify national integration, economic reformation, and national security are actually Herculean tasks the presidency has set machinery in motion to bring to fruition. But what are the sacrifices the presidency must have to make to achieve its set goal, which is to build a great, unified, and prosperous nation? Let's look at the issues and challenges on the presidency in focus on TV Nigeria right away. Join us. Okay, you're welcome back to the studio. Just like we said during the introduction, today on the presidency in focus, we're going to be taking a look at the presidential roadmap to national integration, economic reformation, and of course, national security. Looking at recent developments across the country and strategic decisions and efforts, initiatives of the presidency, the whole development surrounds the issue of national integration, security, national security, and of course, economic reformation. Nigeria today is on the march again to become one of the enviable countries, not only in West Africa, but also in the world. But as we speak today, there are discordant tunes when decisions, efforts, and initiatives come up from the presidency. This is democracy. You can't rule it out. But it's all about seeking solutions, strategies, and recommendations to chart a path for greatness. To discuss this issue with us today, we've got Dr. Patrick Anidi is a political analyst, leadership and governance consultant, public affairs analyst, and of course, a religious leader. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Patrick Anidi. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Next, the social change advocate, motivational speaker, and national orientation crusader, L. Kennedy Victor. You're welcome, L. Kennedy Victor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. The presidential roadmap to national integration, economic reformation, and national security. That's our focus today on the presidency in focus on TV Nigeria. Let me come to you, Dr. Anidi. One very disturbing issue that has brought about discordant tunes across the nation has to do with the recent move by the central bank to move strategic offices from the CBN in Abuja to Lagos. This, to some in the north, as tinkering with the unity of this country. But what's your take really on this matter?
It's fortunate that we have divergent and heterogeneous view about this matter. And that gives me a whole lot of concern if truly Nigeria is one. And if truly the success and stability of our nation is at the heart of everybody. to move or relocate certain strategic department, not the CBN headquarters, to Lagos or wherever, to me, shouldn't create all the noise that we are hearing all over the place. In the first place, Nigeria contributes the most, far, if you want to put percentages. In 2004, I did a study on behalf of a telecom company, one of the leading telecom companies in Nigeria, looking at the center where to locate their operations. I traveled to Abuja personally. I interacted with the system. At the end of the day, we find out that the businesses in Nigeria, blue chip organization or what have you, 64% of them are domiciled in Lagos. Port Harcourt has 6%. Abuja and Kano have 5%. Kaduna has 3%. So if we are looking at ease of doing business, and we are interested in helping this child that is contributing so much to the nation building, his health is important to us, we must make it easy for him to access opportunities or variables or things that can enhance his doing more. So it's not an issue, it's not a political issue. It has nothing to do with ethnic coloration. It's about the stability of Nigeria. It's about the wellness of Nigeria. It's about helping the center, not the headquarters moving to Lagos. It's talking about departments so that it takes very short time, lead time. If you look at the lead time between order and delivery or demand and supply, the gap should be so narrow. So people don't have to go through all the process, the whole hog, to assess what I call relief. So we shouldn't even bother to debate it at all. It doesn't make any sense. Let me tell you, in 2015, I think, when Buhari came into power, he made a statement that for the safety of Nigeria, and given what was happening in Maduguri in Borno State, the defense headquarters have to move to Maduguri. Number one, to make it easy for the military to access materials and equipment within a twinkle of an eye. It is just normal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nidi. Senator Ali Idume delivered a stern caution to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, warning of potential political consequences should the president proceed with relocating specific departments of the CBN and the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria FAN headquarters to Lagos State. Mr. Victor, that's coming from a senator. Why is this issue becoming, having a national outlook or an ethnic coloration?
I listened to him actually, and on that very day that I listened to him, I felt so bad that a man of his caliber and occupying such an exalted office could say things like that, because he is not seeing Nigeria, he just seeing the northerners. Because what the president, the move that he's taking, is for the betterment of the north and south, for the people, economically wise, security wise. I don't think that the federal government will take it so light with him, but my advice to the federal government that let them do what is necessary and what will benefit the masses, not one region or one person. Before they decide to make such move, they have looked into see the benefits and even suggesting to the federal government to move some other parastatals also to other states also. Yep. For one reason, from my own end, one reason, insecurity. So, but what I want is that let him also beef up securities and also ensure safety in Abuja also.
Dr. Nidi, former President Muhammadu Buhari was in power for 8 years and he never took this kind of decision. People are saying that why should it be President Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming now to change the status quo?
Buhari ruled Nigeria for 8 years, but he was just a military person who put on civilian uniform. So understanding the dynamics of politics wasn't there. Politics is a whole lot of business that is driven by ability to say and do, and is also driven by boldness, relevant boldness, tangible boldness. Nigeria is an heterogeneous society, And Nigeria has the emblem of masculinity. So to tame Nigeria and to govern Nigeria require a madman, a bold man, who is not necessarily looking at the cry of the people. Because look at me, if you have cancer or you are afflicted with certain sickness, if you are emotional and you don't want to go for that surgical operation, you will die. So the issue is you got to take decision like the men in the Bible at the gate of Samaria, the lepers. They said, if we remain here, we will die. Yeah. If we go back to the city, we may still die. But if we find favor in the hand of the people, we'll be saved. So the issue is, if you don't take that bold decision and implement it, Nigeria will remain where we are. And nobody loves stagnation. So I think I want to salute him. It's a decision that is born out of boldness and understanding the idiosyncrasy of the environment. The number of banks in Nigeria, all their headquarters are in Lagos. Most banks, I think about 95 or even 100% of them. The manufacturing companies, almost 95% of them are in Lagos. So why shouldn't we take decisions that make ease of doing business better? It's not about north-south dichotomy. This is not an issue of regional, favoritism or interest. It's about how do we help the Nigerian economy? How do we boost the Nigerian economy? Why must you be traveling all the time? It's not even about security alone. Yeah. Because nowhere is safe in Nigeria. It's about the interest of the Nigerian nation, Nigerian project. Empowering the individuals, empowering the economic sectors, the different sectors of the economy, so that at the end of the day, we have big cake for everybody to share. So we may be celebrating now that we have access to, we are in the north, we are close to Abuja, Abuja is our own. Who even told you that Abuja is for the north? Abuja is central for all Nigerians. And if Nigerian leaders look at it and say, no, we are not going to help our economy, let us decentralize XYZ like he said, we can move some to Port Harcourt, for example. We can look at Kano, for example. I've just given you statistics of the business distribution in Nigeria. Nigeria is a hard nation that requires a hard man. And I've seen it in this man. Not only being hard, he's very, very well enlightened and very, very well educated.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nidi. Now, I have this comment from Ahmed Mayaki. Is a former spokesman for the governor of Kaduna State. He argued that the offspring of some northern elites who had studied overseas were secretly recruited into the central bank. He observed that these people would rather stay in their comfort zones now that they had returned to Abuja. And so he further maintained that the northern politicians are putting their own interest ahead of more important regional issues. Mr. Victor, do you agree with Mayaki?
I agree with him to a certain extent. That has been the nature of an average northerner. They really want to overshadow the other side. They want to own everything by themselves. I don't know the reason why they do that. They just take over the positions that are supposed to be given to people that knows how to do the job. If that is true, then the federal government is quite proactive. So if we are training people expert abroad, why don't it be a collective something? If we are one, then why do you train experts just for your own benefits, just for the northern reason? And that is quite bad. And if that is true, then the federal government should do more in moving some of the strategic departments from that Abuja to other places.
Dr. Anidi, you begin to wonder if there is actually the so-called unity in the country. Now, with all this, does it call for restructuring?
The issue of restructuring has been on for a very long time. It's not today. Different leadership at certain time have tried it. Even the then President Goodluck Jonathan made a move when we came up with the issue of national debate. Yeah. We don't know where the document is resting right now. But beyond that, like I did say, the case of Nigeria is like a family that is known to be polygamy. where every woman head of a domain, so to say, you are a man, you have 5 wives, and each of the 5 wives, had gotten children. Everybody wants to protect her own domain. And if care is not taken, you see manifestation of high-end witchcraft to undo the children of certain, of the wives, so that they don't progress beyond certain level. That is what we are seeing in Nigeria. And in such a family, what has happened in the past, you begin to put up program of education to educate the wives or the offspring of the different domain on the benefit of being together as one. Nigeria is big enough with our population of over 200 million. We have the manpower, we have the resources, and our youthful population is very large. I think about 54% or more. 54%. So we cannot afford to disintegrate. So the hues and cry we see, all those statements we are seeing from Arewa youth and all the like, are expression that I said that is about how do I get the bigger part of the cake, self-centeredness. We must look away from being, self-interested in whatever we are doing. We are talking about a national cake. So the interest should be what benefit Nigeria. So how do we ensure that we are working together? Let us build a common cake and let the sharing formula be clear to everybody. I do research sometimes when I'm asked to develop sample size for a survey. I use a formula called the PPS. That is population proportionate to the sample. We look at what is the population of Nigeria, about 6% in the national population. Kano is about 6.5 or 7%. Abuja is like 2. Anambra is like 3 or so. So you will factor the sample size in line with the bigness of each of the regions. Once that is done and the North see that they will benefit, I'm telling you, it's a done deal. There was a time the capital of Nigeria was Calabar. At a point, it was Lagos. And now it's Abuja. And I feel in order not to keep moving around, Abuja was brought to the fore. And everybody agreed that Abuja is central, where everybody can have access. The same mindset of then should be what we are working with at this point.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Nidi. You're still watching the Presidency in Focus on TV Nigeria, and we'll be taking a look at the presidential roadmap to national integration, economic reformation, and national security. We'll be right back. You're welcome back to the Presidency in Focus on TV Nigeria. We're talking about the presidential roadmap to national integration, economic reformation, and national security. So, gentlemen, what is happening right now tend to indicate that the state governors, they really have a lot of work to do. Because if you look at Lagos, it's a cosmopolitan city with a fast-growing population. And when you ask the Igbo man, the Hausa man, the different ethnic tribe, they said Lagos is a land of gold, which shouldn't be. For development purpose, the argument is that it's because the states are not developing. And that's why it looks as if Lagos is a center of focus. Mr. Victor, do you share this thought?
Yes, I do. I have often said that I respect Lagos. Lagos is a Nigeria, a micro, because Lagos is very vibrant. I've looked all over Nigeria, all over the states. It's only Lagos that all the local governments are functioning. When it comes to other states, they're not actually doing well.
So what's the problem?
Who is
to blame?
Yeah, it's the governor. They're not doing well at all. Because when you say, what does it take you to do well? It's actually nothing. Just assemble your team. All of the state, they just capitalize on the capital city, Imo State, where I come from. It's the only place that is very vibrant. Every other place that is developed by individuals. The only place in the East that is quite gaining attention is Anambra State. Because now they have started developing all of their local governments. You can move from one local government and they will direct you to go and get so and so in the other local governments. But every other state, what they do, they will just come to the capital city, they just beat one or two things and just beat two roads, and other places are just like that. And that's why people are running to Lagos. So their governors, I can tell you categorically, they are not creative. They have not deployed creative dexterity into positive endeavors. Because why? They lack the idea, they lack the knowledge. They better come to Lagos and learn. There is no shame about that. Because Lagos, over time, we have seen all the governors, they are all just doing well. They're all just doing well. Today, when you mention Nigeria, you don't even talk about Abuja, you talk about Lagos. Because this is where everything happened.
Let's get your opinion, Dr. Anidi.
The problem we have is that we don't have what I call monitoring and evaluation. For example, I believe the federal government superior to the state superior to the local government, and so on and so forth. In the Federal Executive Council meeting, I expect the president to call up a governor. 3 governors will be doing presentation today about the milestones they have achieved in their state. What are they doing? And then before the next Federal Executive Council, maybe quarterly or annually, there is a follow-up to check your plans and procedures. When Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State, like you did say, he had master plan. And that master plan was not tinkered with. Of course, we may say because Lagos State is being governed by a particular political entity, so there is continuity. It doesn't make any difference, whether it is PDP or Labour Party or what do you call it, APC, that is ruling at a particular time. Look at what he did on IPPS when it comes to ASU. I don't see ASU coming to strike or to withdraw their going to class anytime soon. He did the same to the military. Maybe the reason we are even having insecurity is the fact that the military are not being empowered enough, motivated enough, and so they done too and were watching. Buhari, you are the general. Let's see how far you do it. We are the grassroots men. So this man is looking at how to better what his predecessor did without necessarily throwing everything into the trash. Let every state governor develop their state. We are seeing such input coming from Ogun State. I was told recently I've not been to Ebonyi. The last time I went to Ebonyi was about 1996 or thereabout, when most of the roads there are just one way. But now somebody told me, sir, that Ebonyi State, for example, is the US of Nigeria. I have not been there to compare to Lagos. So let every governor invest their time, their talent, and the resources available, human capital, financial capital, and skill, talent, to develop the state. To add to that, sir, let every state come up with a blueprint of campaign telling Nigerians what they are doing, the opportunities that are banned. Then you will see a shift. The press on the Lagos facility will reduce to a reasonable extent.
Thank you very much. The presidential roadmap to national integration, economic reformation, and national security. That's a focus on the presidency in focus on TV Nigeria. Now, gentlemen, the issue of lopsided appointments, that's another argument some people have thrown again to the president. Idume also said it, is giving the Lagos boys job. Again, a northerner also came up to now say, no, I don't agree with you. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is balancing the appointment. Mr. Victor, how would you see the appointment list?
We're Nigerians anyway. Yeah. There is nothing anyone can do, because there is this one of our characteristics that if I don't like your face, whatever you do does not appeal. But if I like your face, whatever you do appeal, and it's okay. The appointment, the minister is appointed, is from states. Is there any state that does not have a minister? So if you're appointing parastatals, you're appointing the people that can do the job. If it is an Hausa man that can do the job, appoint him to do the job. An Igbo man that will do the job. If I be your man, just appoint people that can do. If the people that can do the job are coming from one section of the country, appoint them. Only what we need is results. The appointment is not even the issue. The policies or the people that you appoint are bringing. What change are they making in the system? What are they contributing? What new are they bringing that will benefit the common man on the streets? That is the main reason of governance. If the masses can be okay, if we have good hospitals, have good roads through their appointment, good. If we have constant power supply, like the immigration man, he is trained in everywhere. I can get my passport in 10 days. If it is him that will bring my passport in 10 days and clear the backlog of passports in that place, and I began to ask, what is holding this passport all this while? And why is it that it's taking time to come? If he puts somebody that cannot deliver, of what benefit it takes to me? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a very strategic leader. The way he governed Lagos in Nigeria as the big picture, whatever he would do to better the economy, curb insecurity, to make us to be okay, the citizen, that is all we need.
Dr. Nidi, in the recent past, the governor of Anambra State, Governor Soludo, thanked the president for appointing Umahi as the Minister of Works. Why do you think the Northerners are feeling insecure that the president is giving out the choice appointments to his own people?
Well, it is expected, whether we like it or not. Like I've said before, Nigeria is such an heterogeneous society, and everybody is fighting for his own. In my language, they say, he who holds the hoe, pull the sand to himself. Okay? And so nobody wanted to hold that advantage. But the issue is that we have seen to a reasonable extent that just like Victor said, this president has been open reasonably. They are shouting it's a control measure to tell the president that we are watching what you are doing. And every bit to slide to the other side, we will resist it. Bringing Umahi to become the Minister of Works, it's clear to every Nigerian that the right peg is being put in the right hole. Wale Edu, for example, a very strong man with economic acumen, is driving the economic segment to ensure that we achieve the dream in question. Because it is he who knows the way that can show the way to the blind. Okay? Yeah. So, nevertheless, let us be very conscious. Let's be sensitive to the regional loyalty of the different person. Former Central Bank Governor, Sanusi. Look at what he said. He said he would have relocated certain departments to Lagos, but he didn't have the time before he left the office. So the issue is looking at putting the right peg on the right hole, not necessarily, affecting or pulling down a particular region, because in every region there is a good resource.
Still talking about economic reformation, the Naira is nosediving to an alarming rate. But each time the Minister for Finance, Edu, speaks, he's still assuring Nigerians that it's going to be well. Kennedy Victor, what would be the practical suggestions you have for the president and the economic team?
Issue of Naira and dollar is quite painful to the people, because each day I check, it has become an assignment. And I began to wonder, we sell crude and we receive money in dollar. They go to bank, they say there is no dollar. Then the Naira is chasing that few dollar. So if we have excess of dollar, let us even pay our contractors with Naira, not with dollar.
Can we get your reaction, sir, Dr. Anidi?
I looked at the Nigerian system. I first of all look at the man, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I look at the people he assembled as his economic think tank. And I'm beginning to wonder, are there things they know that we don't know? A Zimbabwean made a statement. He's a businessman in Canada. He said the giraffe shouldn't waste his time arguing with a rabbit about how the top of the mountain looks like. What's the implication of that? We are shouting at this level. We don't know what the president has seen. We don't know what his economic think tanks have seen. We don't know the parameter they are using to work. While I am not an expert in financial issue, I want to make a suggestion that they should look at the variables critically. Why do we have the Naira falling so fast downwardly? What are the reasons? So I think we should encourage the president to come up with a program of education and communicate the reason for what is going on. So let's have an education, a campaign to let Nigerians know exactly where we are and where we are headed and the reason for where we are. As we talk right now, I learned certain people who have been doing business and benefiting so much, they have also dropped in value. Some who are known to be number one or number two, they have dropped from the top of the ladder because of certain measure against the dollar, so to say, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu undertook. So I think it is those who go to do business in great water that appreciate the wonders of God in the deep. If you are not there, you don't know what is happening.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Onidi. You're still watching the Presidency in Focus on TV Nigeria. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. You're welcome back to the Presidency in Focus. So, gentlemen, let's take a look at the issue of national security. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the Pulaku initiative, a non-kinetic solution to deal with insurgency and banditry in the north. And the president has equally allocated a sum of 50 billion naira to the initiative. The vice president spoke during his opening address at a two-day roundtable on insecurity in northern Nigeria, organized by the Coalition of Northern Groups, with the theme multi-dimensional approach to tackling insecurity in northern Nigeria. The vice president, who was represented by Chief of Staff Ibrahim Adeja, said the now improved initiative will begin in 5 states of the north. What do you think about this?
I have not read the details or the concept, but I think to earmark 50 billion, there are more to it than meet the eyes. I want to encourage the president to ensure that that policy initiative is driven to the latter and that human resources, equipment to achieve that should be fully deployed. I believe that the president or the current leadership, especially that the vice president is also from that region, they may have done a study or they may have come up with an observation that the way forward is this initiative. I don't know much about the environment of the initiative, but I think it is good things for Nigeria to know that the president is not just sleeping and folding his hand, and that certain measures are being taken to the extent that the vice president, Alhaji Shettima himself, can validate it. Yaradua, he went to Niger Delta himself. And today, sir, Niger Delta, whether you like it or not, is no longer as restive, as dangerous as it used to be. So we must move to the north, help the north, set up business, empower the people, come up with good roads, let people have opportunity of building up and developing infant industries and businesses. Perhaps if such is done, then we done tool and then we all have our peace.
Let's look at it. 50 billion to these strategic states to tackle security. And this is just the first installment. What do you think about the president's initiative?
The president have done noble because that is part of his campaign promises to fight insecurity in Nigeria. But insecurity in Nigeria has become a personal business. That there are some people that are benefiting from it, and these people are very powerful. That's why the 50 billion that they will split to the state that are involved, if care is not taken, they will not do much. So the idea of sharing the money for the states, for the state governors, to use this money to curb insecurity in your own state is a very laudable idea. And but the problem here is that there are cartels that benefit from insecurity, and they are more powerful than the governor, and they install some of these governors. That policy is a very good one, but it will not see the light of the day. Sorry, I'm saying this.
Let me say something. This is very interesting. I think the governors, like you said, should be held responsible. Let them report to us periodically how far they have been able to stem down insecurity in their region. 50 billion naira is not a joke. It's not small money.
No, it's small money.
And for the president to put such money ahead as the first phase, whatever, disbursement, he meant business. So we must have return on this whooping investment by way of monitoring and evaluation and holding the governors accountable. The governors know the people. They use them for political, battles and all
Then
that.
how can they fight them?
That is it.
Mr. Victor, recently the Minister for Mines, Dele Alake, was talking about threats to his life for making efforts to clamp down on illegal miners. Part of what is causing insecurity in the country is also because of mining, the business of mining. What can the president do concerning this?
These people, they mean business. They mean business. They are very powerful. They are like the drug cartel. And they are very, very powerful, because if someone can have the temerity, the mind to sack a village just because he wants to take over their lands to mine the resources, they have already infiltrated the government, even the federal government. So to defeat them will be very, very strong. The only way you can defeat them is by strategically, just like the president is doing right now.
Dr. Nidi.
Well, the issue is beyond the minister.
Of course.
Like he said, the system has been so, infiltrated by illegal people who have manipulated the who is who in power. There is a cartel, like you mentioned, but I think the Nigerian security system must be brutal, number one, and the will. The government must come up with a policy measure and a kind of system, cobweb system, that monitor the entry and exit point in Nigeria. They enter Nigeria through somewhere. The equipment they are using is carried into Nigeria through the ship or through the plane or whatever. If we have the entry point and the exit point well manned by people who are willing to die for their nation, I said earlier, not taking care of the military or the police or the other segment of security is the reason why some of them will just fold their hands and say, let's sit down and watch. Because if I die in the process, what happened to my wife and children? So if the government can deploy a whole lot of resources to empower the citizens, the security apparatus, the different segments, we will be in business. Let us also have people who are like strong, intelligent men. Let's build more intelligent capacity. People who can come in decoy and they feign to want to be partner with you. In so doing, we can have revelation. We can have access to where those people are hiding and their strategic, trust. So once that is done, then we deploy security to the various zones. In addition to that, I also think that one of the things we can also do is to see how we can subtly, let me use the word subtly, that doesn't mean you are surrendering to them, bring these people, make them critical stakeholder, ask them questions, and ensure that we formalize the process of mining. So if that is done, I believe that the hide and seek aspect of it may have been mitigated reasonably.
On a final note, what are your passing shot for the office of the presidency?
President should remain focused and do exactly what he has promised us, and do not shake. And also look into the military, because the military has been infiltrated by the bandits or the Boko Haram. So he should focus and deliver his campaign promises. Even though he takes him to climb on toes, all we need is results. We don't know any other person, but we only know him. On the economy, he should employ experts, even if it's Nigerians abroad that are good in economic policy, that he should bring them so that they will revamp our economy, so that the people will also believe on his promises also. So the hope, the people are not seeing it renew right now, but I believe that he is coming because he has to cut off some cancers to get to the Eldorado in which we envisage.
Dr. Nidi, what's your passing shot looking at the issue of revamping the economy, national security, and of course, national integration? What is your final shot?
We should focus on how to ensure that the environment is stable.
Yeah.
Like Yoruba people would say the piece of the tree is the piece of the bird. If the wind is so volatile and ferocious and this tree is unstable, the birds can perch. So ensure that factors that drive economic issue are put in place. For example, good roads, electricity, very important for the SMEs, security. Once these three are put in place, you can be sure that the Nigeria of our dream will be realized. Having said that, I want to salute his courage. And also, I have also seen in him what I call native wisdom. I have seen Nigeria being governed not just because of age or whatever. Native wisdom is important. That was his New Year gift to democracy in Nigeria.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on the Presidency Focus on
you.
TV Nigeria. God bless you. To achieve a Nigeria of our dream is realistic only if the leaders and the citizenry have a sense of unity and purpose. That sums up our discussion today on the Presidency in Focus on TV Nigeria. For more on the broadcast on TV Nigeria, you can subscribe and watch us on our YouTube channel, TV Nigeria 808, Web TV, www.tvnigeria.ng. You can follow us on our Facebook and X platforms at TV Nigeria, and of course on Instagram at TV Nigeria 1. Thanks for watching.